Hello, my Necedah School community. This is Tanya Kidlowski, Superintendent of Schools here in Necedah. Just doing one of my regularly scheduled Facebook Live sessions. And I welcome you if you're on and able to join us. I welcome you to this week's session. So as I stated with the last time we were together, I wanted to cover two different topics today. One of them is weather-related school closings, and then the other one is sort of some information about our two new charter schools that are opening up next fall. So those are our primary two topics that we're going to be talking about today. And all right, I see somebody's on with us, so it looks like everything is going through, so let's get started. The first topic I wanted to cover today is our weather-related school closings. As many of you know, last year was my first year as a superintendent, and I will tell you, I think probably other than having to go to an operational referendum last spring, the decision to close school was probably one of my biggest stressors. And so I have come to realize that unfortunately, no matter what I decide, that I'm probably making people unhappy. And that isn't one of my most favorite things to do, is to know I'm causing stress for people. But I do know that in inclement weather, decisions have to be made. And as most people know with meteorologists, when it's about 50% right, I am certainly, trying to do my very best based on the information I have from them. So I just wanted to share some information in terms of when decisions are made, how we sort of make those decisions, and what our next steps are once we make it. So typically in the morning, the process looks like this. I typically will get up out of bed about 2:30. I usually get between 2:30 and 3. I get one of our state updates in terms of where our most hazardous weather conditions are around the state. And at that time, I will communicate with our Director of Transportation, our Director of Building and Grounds, and we begin thinking about if in fact we need to be considering a school closing or delay. And so those individuals are then in turn contact with our local people, whether it's county or local Necedah people, in terms of snow plowing and how all of that is going, and if they've been out, if they plan to be out. We have really nice cooperation with those agencies, but through that consideration, then we're thinking about whether or not we can have school. And so all of those things are put together, and we begin thinking what are the safest decisions we can make for our kids. Part of the decisions part of the thing that makes it more difficult is the fact that, in a large area district, what could be happening on one part of our school district may or may not be happening on the other part of our district. So there was actually one time last year that we were considering canceling. And part of our school district, which has more fields, was experiencing a lot of icy roads, which no one else did, and it didn't even seem like anything was happening anywhere else. And we knew that we had 3 buses that were heading to that part of our school district, and we knew that it wouldn't be safe for them. So we had to make a hard decision. So what seemed like a bad decision to some people, it wasn't that way for others. So that's what makes it kind of iffy. I do try to provide some context of why we made the decision we did, if I'm able. And I just appreciate everybody's patience, and just know I definitely agree with you. It's a stressful time for all of us when you're thinking about how to take care of your kids if school's canceled and all of those things. So I understand the burden on our families. So I will promise I will do the very best I can do to make sure that we're keeping our kids the most safe possible. The closings will be communicated to our families through our messaging system. So a call will go out. I try to make those calls out by 5:30. That is always my goal. In mornings that, weather can change really quickly, that may change, but in general, I try to make sure that those messages are sent out by 5:30. Then we also have various TV channels and radio channels that we call into. So 92.1 is our radio channel. Then we also use, and 106, we use those two channels, but we communicate to Madison channels, 3 and 15 and 27, Channel 8 La Crosse, and Channel 9 Wausau. So those are our places we communicate. All of this information can also be found on our website. I have it on the homepage under, I believe, district announcements. So feel free to peruse the website and find out more information if you're interested. The second topic I wanted to cover today is information about our charter schools, because we are starting some family information sessions next week. And I'd just like to share just a few things about charters and what that means for Necedah, because in any school community, they can look a little different based on the type of charter school they are. So our charter schools are considered district authorized charter schools. They are created for the purpose of serving our school community by providing additional options for our families and students. I am very excited about the opportunity to create options for our students and families, because in our small rural community, people don't have a lot of options unless they are able to drive somewhere with their child every day, twice a day. We just don't have a lot of options. So I am excited that we're actually able to offer our families opportunity such as this. So for me, I think it's a really nice thing that we have coming up. These schools will open next fall. There is a K-5 school. Actually, I take that back. It's a grade 1 through 5 school, which will be called Envision Learning Center. There is a 6-12 school, which will be called Engage Academy. And so both of those schools are for the purpose of serving all students. They are not directed towards a certain demographic or a certain type of student. As a matter of fact, our grants were written that they would represent our population. So that means we would have a mixture of ability levels, a mixture of students. So they were written for that purpose. I think sometimes people think that charter schools are for students who are really, really challenged by school. That is not the case for the charters we have. We do think that it provides a different atmosphere, but certainly no better or worse than what we have offered to our families and students right now. We have some sessions started. They are all posted on our website. If you pop on our homepage, you can see on the bottom right, there is an area where it has information sessions. There is also now a link to a charter school page that also can provide additional information for people if you're interested. So feel free to join us. They are short sessions, no more than 15 minutes to a half an hour, just to provide some information for people interested, and to really for us also to help us understand what types of questions you have. Right now, there are 2 design teams, one design team for each school of teachers that are developing that school, along with consultants and support. And then we also have a governance board, which is responsible, sort of like a school board to the district. The governance board is responsible for governing those 2 charter schools. So the governance board is creating a contract that will exist between the Board of Education for Necedah Area School District, as well as the charter board, which serves their 2 new charter schools. And there is a cooperative agreement between those 2 boards with how we're going to serve students and what the expectations are for servicing our students and families. And that agreement will be finalized and approved by the end of January. Is our goal to have that in place. That'll all be a public document. Certainly people, if you're interested, what that charter agreement looks like, it will be an open document for all to see. So I think in general, gives a little bit of outline. Certainly those information sessions, you'll have a more personalized view about what each charter is all about and what our focus points are. But ultimately, each charter is about really kind of looking at our larger district vision and making it all come alive, because we can do that really quickly in a small environment with students who want that type of environment. And it really is about looking at powerful strategies to put the learner at the center of learning, which includes a more personalized, individualized approach around their needs, passions, interests. And so we're excited to start that project-based schools. And certainly if you're interested, join us for those sessions. I think that is primarily what I had an update for today. I have just a couple quick announcements if you're listening. We have Christmas content coming up next week, so if you're interested in those, take a look at our website. You'll see dates. We also have coming to Necedah, we are having a Happy Holidays from the Homefront event, and certainly our community is welcome. We have a show coming to our school. It sort of comes back to the 1940s when stars from the stage and screen entertain the troops. And so we think it's going to be a fun dinner theater show. You're welcome to join us. There's also information on our website about that. In tandem with that, we also have the honor of having a traveling veterans museum here in our school during that time. So we certainly encourage our community to come and visit and take a look at that traveling museum. We're very lucky to have gotten that here in Necedah, so it would be a nice thing to come in and check out. And all of this, by the way, is going to support our Veterans Memorial Wall. We'll be doing a dedication for our veterans at the end of June. And so I will certainly be sharing more information on that at a later time. So that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate your engagement. Have a good rest of the day, and I will see you in a couple weeks before we're off for the holiday. Have a good day, everyone.